الله أكبر 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 إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. I was thinking yesterday what to give this khutbah on. There's a lot of topics that are relevant and useful. The one that kept coming up most was the most obvious one, which is the theme of Ramadan has finished. Our levels of iman and good deeds are elevated. Let's keep up the momentum, right? It's probably something we've heard before every Eid. And I kept coming back to it because I realized that is probably one of the most important topics to talk about, because this is the one time of the year, Ramadan, where we actually elevate in terms of our iman, in terms of our deeds, in terms of our actions, in terms of recitation of the Quran, in terms of praying Taraweeh. Obviously that's not there outside of Ramadan, but increased levels of Salah. Sadaqah is another thing that we increase in Ramadan. The reality is though, after Ramadan, we always end up coming back down. And so when I was thinking what to talk about, I realized this is the most important thing in the context to really talk about. So I wanted to talk about the same thing, but I wanted to try and make it practical and give some practical things that we can do to make sure that we actually do maintain as much as we can outside of the month of Ramadan. There's a book by someone called James Clear. It's called Atomic Habits. Maybe some of you have heard of it, some of you maybe read it. It's a very famous book on habits. I read it a few years ago and it came to me again when I was preparing this khutbah, because it gave some quite useful advice about how we could instill habits in our life. And I think it's actually, a lot of them are very applicable to what we can do to make sure we maintain the habits that we've built up in Ramadan. He talks about four core principles to really instill a habit. First is to make it easy. Second is to make it obvious. Third is to make it attractive, and the fourth is to make it satisfying. So to make it easy, i.e. doing a habit that is not, a massive task or massive endeavor, something small because you can be more consistent with it. The second one, make it obvious, is about creating an environment in your life where it's very easy to do that habit. You don't have to do a lot of effort to get to do that thing. The third is to make it attractive, which is often to pair the habit with something that you really want to do already, right? And I'll talk about that a bit more later. But to make you adapt a habit more easily, if you were to pair it with something that you love doing and you attach it to that, you're more likely to do it. And the fourth one was to make it satisfying, meaning that once you do the habit, you should reward yourself in some way, like a dopamine hit, which helps instill that habit in you. The first one I think is very relevant, which is to make it easy. This is maybe tip number one regarding how we can actually make sure to implement the stuff we did in Ramadan, outside of Ramadan. And the first is to avoid this all or nothing approach. A lot of people are like, in Ramadan I was reading juz every day, I was doing this, I was doing that. After Ramadan I'm going to try and do the exact same. They try and do this exact same thing. And the reality is it's very difficult to do the exact same thing. And so when you do that, and you realize maybe the first couple of days is fine, you're fasting Shawwal and you do these things, but maybe after the seventh day you maybe start to slip a little bit, and then you lose hope. And you're like, it was a tough ask anyway, and then you just drop the habit completely. So the first thing is to make it a small habit. Think of the things that we did in Ramadan and try and think about what is the thing that I could realistically do every single day forever. Something small that you could do every single day forever of the things that you did in Ramadan. So the first point is to make it small, make it easy. The second thing is the point I was talking about, the easy access. Make it something that is easy to access where there's a lot of obstacles, you remove them. So one example, for example, is recitation of the Quran. In Ramadan, everyone, increases their recitation. Sometimes people, finish the Quran, alhamdulillah. But what can we do outside of Ramadan? Should we say, okay, I'm going to continue reading a juz a day? If you believe you can, then yes, I'm not trying to limit you. But if realistically you think that's going to be challenging, don't say, oh, let me try and read a juz a day, or 5 pages a day, or 2 pages a day. Make it very, very small. Even something like 5 lines a day. Right? The standard mushaf nowadays, a lot of them are 15-line Qur'ans, right? So 5 lines is a third of a page. It takes about a minute or maybe 2 minutes. Make that the habit, something really small to say, okay, I will inshallah read just 5 lines of Qur'an every day. The second point of make it easy to access, what this means is take your mushaf, don't put it downstairs in the corner wherever you maybe normally pray. Put it at your desk. Put it by your bedside table, wherever you normally are. Put the Quran right there, so that to read the Quran, all you have to do is pick up the mushaf rather than going somewhere else to do it. Right? This is about curating your environment so that deeds are easier for you. Okay? So there's a lot of things that we can do, a lot of good deeds that we do in Ramadan that I think are valuable to take outside of Ramadan. I'll mention 3 very briefly. The first one is what I just mentioned, recitation of the Quran. Even 5 lines a day. 5 lines a day we can do easily. We can do it on the train. We can do it first thing in the morning before breakfast. We can do it last thing at night. This is all something very small. This is the first thing I'd say is a good habit for us to instill. Just 5 lines minimum. The second one is to read the translation of that. Okay? Some of us, alhamdulillah, can speak Arabic, understand Arabic. A lot of us can't. And so let's read the Arabic and then read the translation, because it's important to help increase our connection with the Quran is to actually make sure we can read it in a language that we understand. The third potential deed that we can try and take outside Ramadan is sadaqah. It's something that we increase in Ramadan, a way that we can make it very easy so that we almost never miss it is to set up some sort of standing order, some sort of subscription where every month it's a direct debit is taken out of your account. You set this up, you make the intention that this is something that I want to do, and you do it. And so, for example, one option is that we have, at Companions of the Mosque, we have the Saturday school running every Saturday for the children. And this is something that a principle of COM is that this is for free. We believe in the free education for the children, but in order to support that, we have the option of sponsoring a child at £25 a month. It's not a huge amount. It's a commitment that you can make, inshallah, make the intention, set up a standing order, and £25 a month is taken, and you never have to worry about missing it or forgetting it. Okay? This is one of the other things that we can do to make it easy. We're not having to now donate every month. It's something we can just set up and it just runs. Okay, so these are 3 potential deeds that we can try and do. Well, number 1, read the Quran, even 5 lines, read the translation, and then set up some sort of regular sadaqah. In the khutbah, obviously, it's not recommended. Like, part of the khutbah is I can't ask you questions or can't ask you to do anything, right? Because in the khutbah, you're meant to just focus on the imam. But the one thing I'll ask you to do afterwards is open up your phone and set up a reminder. I'm going to do it now, actually, recurring reminder. Because this is one of the things we can make it easy for ourselves. So on my phone, I'm going to set up a reminder. I'm going to do Quran. And I'm going to set it every day. How do I do this? Repeat daily. And I'm going to set it for... Let's be realistic. I'm going to set it for before I go to sleep, so 10 p.m. Okay, I have mine set up. So inshallah, this is something that I would advise all of you after the khutbah to just quickly set up a reminder of something, whether it's Quran, whether it's some other deed that you picked up in Ramadan where you can just do it every single day and make it as easy as possible. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. In the first khutbah we talked about maintaining that momentum outside of Ramadan. The other thing I think is very important to talk about is today, this day of Eid. There are some sunnah specific to the day of Eid that it's important for us to keep in mind and follow. One of the sunnah of Eid is the takbirat, as we were hearing before the Salah started. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Walillahi alhamd. Another sunnah of the sunnahs of Eid is to, before you come to the Eid Salah, maybe a bit late now, but it's to eat dates. And the plural is given here, so eat 3 dates. This is one of the sunnah, and part of that principle is to essentially break your fast before coming to the Eid Salah, because fasting on this day is not allowed. Amongst the other sunnah is to do ghusl before you come to the Eid Salah, and to wear perfume for the men. Amongst the sunnah also, this is one that we can do, now that the other ones I mentioned are too late. But one that we can do is return home in a different route to the one that we came. This is another one of the sunnah. And the other one is to congratulate each other. Inshallah, after the khutbah, the companions would say to each other when they would meet, تَقَبَّلَ اللَّهُ مِنَّا وَمِنْكُمْ. May Allah accept from you and from us. May Allah accept our fasting, our sadaqah, our good deeds, everything that we did in this month, that we were focused. This is a day to celebrate and rejoice that. Remember, this is a celebration and rejoicing the things that we did in Ramadan. What this day is not, is what we see a lot of people do. For example, if people who go, I don't want to say, like to High Street on the night, yesterday night, this sort of activity. What this day is not, is the day for us to just completely wipe out everything we did last month and just completely go back to where we were right at the beginning. Some of us do this. Some people, they go crazy on Eid. And this is because of the lack of understanding and awareness of what Eid is. It's not something for us to just completely lose all the progress that we had in Ramadan. It's important that within our Eid, within our celebrations, we have adab, we have etiquette. We safeguard our taqwa. And we safeguard our Eid from these things that are very tempting that people get drawn into, that take us away from Islam, that take us away from how we should be practicing Eid. One of the things also I just dislike this a lot is when Muslims sometimes in front of our colleagues or whoever that might be amongst non-Muslims, we describe Eid as the Muslim Christmas. Eid is our version of Christmas. A lot of us do this. I don't like this personally because this is not Christmas. Yeah, it's a celebration. It's like they have their celebration, we have ours, but it's not a Muslim version of Christmas. I think my view is we shouldn't belittle our Eid and compare it to their level of Christmas, because what they do is not what we do, and what they celebrate is not what we celebrate. And so it's not our version of Christmas. Eid is our Eid, and this is a side point anyway. But to the main point is we should, on this day of Eid, as we go and we celebrate with our families, with our friends, keep in mind what we've just done for the last month. And keep in mind how we should be practicing our Eid, and try and safeguard this taqwa, this iman that we've built up, and not use this day to just destroy it all and reset us back to zero. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد.